Afternoon. Welcome to the Council's Government Operations and Regulations Committee. This is Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. I am detecting a quorum with myself, Council Members Benton, Ellis, Eastlick, Nash, Webb, and Weiner. All right. Pursuant to state law, we will go ahead and have a public comment where there are a couple individuals who have signed up. Mr. Reiter is here to speak on RS 2024-382, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, which I've just been informed will be deferred one meeting, so I'll still give you an opportunity to speak in opposition.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I talked to Brandon Taylor, at least on his. I know he's going for a one meeting deferral. I think Councilmember Toombs has one that's pending, and I don't know the status of what she's going to do with that. I think people have gone out there and sent you emails regarding this, and so I'm here to basically go out there and make sure the concerns are on the record. We have a lot of, a couple years ago, we had probably a quarter of the single-family sales in this city really went to major Wall Street investors. And it really made it difficult for people to go out there and buy a home in this town. Also, it increased the prices. You can't go out and compete when somebody goes out there and says, sight unseen, all cash offer, deal's done. So the council before went out there and said we're not going to do non-owner occupied and close to like a park or what, I can't remember all the regulations, because the one for Mr. Taylor is right next to Hadley Park. The council already approved 4 of those there. My understanding he wants to go for another 4, and so I thought 4 was probably enough, but going for all 8, that's just a little bit too much. So I'll reserve some of my comments, I guess, for Toombs, her resolution, so that's all I really have to say on this particular one. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Okay. Kyle Baker to speak in support of 381.
Yeah, hi, everybody. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for having me here. Here on behalf of Little Ray, which is a northern Mexican-inspired restaurant. Specializes in chicken al carbon, traditional street-style tacos, salads, fresh salsas, handmade tortillas, and the like. Short for Little Reynosa, which is a small town on the Mexico-Texas border, which is the food from there inspired the restaurant here. So this is a concept that's spearheaded by Chef Ford Fry, who's a 5-time James Beard Restaurateur of the Year nominee and semifinalist. He's already involved in a number of other locations in this district, including Superica, The Optimist, and Lelu. The distance issue here is with respect to a Catholic church that's immediately next to the property. The Cathedral of the Incarnation. This isn't the only business in the area that is selling alcohol near the church. Other businesses I think within a block of the church include the Lowe's Hotel, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Emergio, Jasper's, the Graduate Hotel. There's a World of Beer that when you open the doors from the church is immediately across the street from the church. So it's no shortage of alcohol sales in the area already. We've also involved the church in this process. We made them aware of this business, of this application, of this process. They've expressed their support of the business, and they've told us that they don't have any problem whatsoever with alcohol sales being made there. So in short, we appreciate your attention, appreciate your time, and look forward to hopefully being part of the Nashville community.
Appreciate that. All right. So what's your question?
I was just going to tell him if he walked into the cathedral, in the back room of the cathedral, I'm Catholic, there's beer taps in the back room. Catholics love beer.
I'm a Catholic myself, I
Do they have a
know.
distance waiver for that, or should I?
Well, I mean, he did turn the water into wine.
I'm just saying.
There's actually a tunnel. All right.
Churches.
All right, so that will bring us to our resolutions on public hearing, which is RS 2024-381 by Coupon. It does exempt Little Ray, located at 2019 Weston Avenue, from the minimum distance requirement for obtaining a beer permit pursuant to Section 7.08.090.e of the Metropolitan Code. I did put that on consent. Also on consent, I have, if you scroll down, Resolution RS 2024-433, Bradford Toombs style and others. It's a resolution requesting Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority and the Metropolitan Department of Codes to provide written notice of any actions taken to demolish, relocate, or otherwise permanently alter the building known as Colmere, located at 1400 Murfreesboro Pike. And then bills on second reading. Oh, and that's never mind. That's going to be a deferral. So we just have two on consent. So kind of get a motion on the consent calendar unless there's any discussion.
Could we remove 11? I'd just like to discuss that a little bit.
Sure. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just take the other bill off of consent as well. No point having consent calendar for one bill. All right. So do we have a motion for approval on item number 1?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of letting the Catholics easy access to beer, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 in favor, none against, none not voting. All right. These next ones I'm going to take all together because the sponsor has requested a one meeting deferral. Those are RS 2024-382, 383, 384, 385, and those are to exempt 1000, 1002, 1004, and 1006 28th Avenue North from the minimum distance requirement to obtaining a short-term rental property non-owner occupied permit pursuant to Metropolitan Code of Laws, Section 6.28.030B2D. All right, do we have a motion on those one meeting deferrals?
Move to defer.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those have been deferred to the meeting. All right, that moves us to, I will take these all together as well. RS 2024-386 by Toombs, 387, 388, and 389, and 390. These exempt 2236, 2238, 2240, 2242, 2244, Whites Creek Pike from the minimum distance requirement for obtaining short-term rental property non-owner occupied permit pursuant to Metropolitan Code of Laws, Section 6.28.030B2D. We have a letter from the sponsor on all these to approve. So we'll go ahead and a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on these? Go right ahead, Councilman.
I'm just curious, again, it was stated by Steve, this council spent a lot of time trying to do away with the non-owner occupied short-term rentals in certain locations, and I would like, I think, a better description of why this should be the exception that we're going on now.
Yeah, the sponsor's letter did not explain
Can I
why
speak?
this is needed.
I'm the owner
Okay,
of
go
the
ahead.
properties. My name's Lane Wallace. I own Cornerstone Investments. We do a lot of work in the area. We started this project maybe 2 years ago. Did a lot of due diligence, a lot with Metro and with the Planning Commission, and they gave us their word, and they're actually emails from Joey Hargis that said this would be short-term rental. So we proceeded as such, built the units, went about $700,000 over budget, made them just for short-term rental. We actually have a contract to sell as well, so I'm in deep with a buyer that wants them as short-term rental. And it happens to fall, there's 6 units, 5 of which fall within 100 feet of St. Peter, AME Church next door. St. Peter, I have a letter from St. Peter. They are in full, they're fine with this. And I've got a letter I can pass around showing that they're.
Can I see that?
Yep. Yes, they're in full support. In fact, the pastor is coming at 6:30 to be there if you need to speak with him.
Are you local?
Yep.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, we've been building in Nashville for 20 years. I've never run into a problem like this where I've been given a green light by the planning department and codes department, and then they come back and say no at the end of this. Now I'm stuck in a contract with a buyer that's threatened to sue because I can't deliver a product. So now I've gone to every measure to get this thing approved. It's in an area it's not tucked up into a neighborhood. It's on a main thoroughfare, and we just happen to have 5 of the units fall within 100 feet. And like I say, the pastor in the church has voted on this, and they're in full support of the STR.
All right, Councilmember Nash, you had a question?
I think you may have answered my question. I was curious about what was surrounding it. Is it back up to a neighborhood?
No.
Or is
In
it all
fact,
commercial?
I'm the property behind it.
Okay.
That is actually zoned for a bed and breakfast. So it's and the sign's been out there, for, you know what you have to go through to get to this point. I mean, it's been a lot. And it's a financial hardship situation as well, as long as the lawsuit that's going to be impending coming from my buyer.
Councilmember
So it's a
Eastlake, did you
mess.
have your hand up for a question?
Well,
Yep.
what was the disagreement as to why in the beginning it was said that it could be, and then why did they say it changed?
Never really gave me a reason other than I think they just missed it. I think they missed the fact because
The law changed.
back then, right when we were buying it, is when that 100-foot rule came into effect, if you're within 100 feet of a church. It was that timing. And Joey, I think they all missed it.
So,
All right, Councilmember Benton was before you.
Just a
Yep.
point of clarification. So these are not homes that have been there for 20 years and we're converting them into Airbnb or short-term
No.
rentals. You built them
Specifically, yeah, I don't know if I made that clear.
From the get-go.
Specifically built
These are
for
brand new.
short-term rentals. Again, in fact, we're over $700,000 over budget on 6 units. It's been over 3 years. We're already in the red on the project. And it's not short-term rental. This thing, it's a disaster. But yeah, there remains specifically for short-term rentals per this buyer that wanted a certain number of bedrooms and all that. So that's how we built them.
Councilmember Webb?
so,
And we did everything, we did
That's okay.
everything the council asked, not the council,
planning department.
the codes department asked, the planning department asked. We did everything step by step. They were out there, over the last 2 years, approving everything as we went.
So what you're
Yes.
saying, if a house was 101 foot from the church, it could already be short-term, non-owner occupied
Right.
rental?
Yeah, so there's 6
Just
of
want to
them.
make sure I understand, yeah.
Right. So there's 6 there connected. The one on the very corner falls, I think, like 110 feet away. So it's okay, and we already have the short-term rental permit for it. The other 5 are attached together. And it's those 5 that and so we went to the church and we said, are you okay with this? Because this is the reason. And they said, yes, yeah, we are. We met with them several times.
I don't know if I could speak or not.
Yeah, you would have to have signed up for speak on this specific bill, if I understand the public comment correctly.
But I did. I think all of them that are there. This is Toombs bill, correct?
Oh, yeah, you did
Yes.
sign up for 38687, so go ahead.
Well, with all due respect to the gentleman here, he's a sophisticated investor. It's his job to do his due diligence. It's not the problem of the community to solve his problem. With all due respect, you should know what the rules and regulations are.
I'll ask you to continue to address the chair.
Okay, I just think it's hearsay. When somebody says the code said this and planning department said that, I can't verify that. There's no way that I know that that's true.
I have emails from Hargis,
Well, I
a
don't know
long
that.
chain of them.
Okay.
Well, I'll send them to you if you need to see them.
Continue to address the
Okay.
chair for
I'm
anybody who's...
sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm also addressing the gentleman here, if he has any comments to
I'm
address the
sorry.
chair.
I just think that when a person goes out there and he built these for short-term rentals specifically. It would seem to me a sophisticated investor would understand what the rules and regulations are. And to go out to say, well, planning said this or code said that, I don't know what they said or what they did not say. But I think people can come up here, there's people that are going out there that are selling real estate and said, oh, I didn't know that that was the case. There was an article in the Scene regarding that specific issue. If a person is a sophisticated investor, they're supposed to do their due diligence. I don't know this gentleman, I know nothing about it. But I'm just saying that everybody can come here and say, I think I was under the impression that this was the case, and I'm going forward with that. My position is very clear. The council, we went out there and we tried to reduce the number of short-term rentals. We have, the numbers been increasing and increasing and increasing. And we have investors that are coming into this town and want to do more short-term rentals. We have people that want long-term rentals because they can't afford a place to live. We have Wall Street coming in here and buying entire blocks to go out there. And so what I'm trying to do is make it affordable for people who want to live here. We do enough for the tourists already, with all due respect. I'm sure I'm out of time, but
I've got 30 short, standard rentals, annual rentals, that are at a reduced rate for people, if that'll make you feel any better about me, okay? I've got them out throughout East Nashville, West Nashville, and they're all around $1,200 a month, where they could be at $2,000 a month.
All right, Councilmember Weiner?
So you said you built them specifically for short-term rentals. Why
Yes.
can't they be homes for people? What makes them specific to short-term rentals?
Well, because the amount we paid for the land, the way they were designed, it just flows by the numbers. I mean, they will only sell for a certain amount in this market if they're single-family units. They will sell for probably 20% more as a short-term rental. So we bought the land at a certain price, knowing they're going to sell for X under short-term rental. Never would have bought the land and built them knowing they're going to be single-family units, because the numbers wouldn't have worked.
So I have a question for Will.
Okay.
So insofar as codes, if the code changed after the time that they bought the property, why does this affect them, since they had already bought the property?
So you'll have to forgive me, I think this started 4 years ago, before I was here, but from my understanding what happened, I believe the real estate agent for the owner had reached out to our short-term rental team and asked, is non-owner occupied short-term rentals, is it allowed in this specific spot? And he said yes.
Yeah.
Now what they should have done is taken the neighboring church into consideration. Technically, it is allowed there, but they didn't convey to them that you would need the variance from council. And so I think that's where the issue is coming in, is they didn't feel like they
Yeah,
got
the
a full
zoning
answer.
allows for short-term rental right there. There's no issue with it.
But it was the exemption.
Because the 5 and
The
6
church
fall within
exemption.
it.
Right.
Yeah, it hit right at the same time.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Nash.
What is the current underlying zoning?
It's, let me see if I've got that here. If not, I can pull it up.
And just for some of our new
It's-
members, go
I
ahead.
mean, it's, yeah, I believe it's,
It would have to be commercial if it's not on.
well, it's a form of commercial, you know, just like the one behind it is, you know. But it's, I don't know the
This council
specific
convened said
commercial.
no more short-term rentals to be built in residential areas. This is commercial. And then later we came back just a couple of years ago and changed it so that if it was a church, and I forget what else
Church,
was added
school,
to that.
park.
So he was obviously caught in the changeover. Yeah, I'll be supporting it.
Yeah.
I've got a letter from the church. I mean, the
Yeah.
pastor will be here to speak.
So
for me.
even if you were grandfathered in,
Councilmember
you
Ellis.
still- oh, sorry.
Councilmember Webb's first.
I'm probably gonna say
Wait
the
your
same
turn.
thing anyway.
Well,
I'm new.
being a builder, no disrespect to due diligence, because being a builder, we do, and if you build in a lot of different counties, you do expect the people that you go to for the information to have the right answers. And I don't think he can be held liable because he went to a Metro person and got the wrong answer. I'm dealing with that on the water issue right now. You know, we go out there and we tell him, you gotta build it over here because the main's over here, and now they want him to move it over but don't wanna pay for it. So, I mean, I don't think this gentleman ought to be blamed for getting the wrong information, so I'm gonna be supporting it.
Councilmember
Yeah,
Ellis.
I was just gonna say, I would support it as well, because even if it was according to the previous code, he's done what he's supposed to have done at that time with getting that letter. So I would be in support of it as well.
All right, any further discussion from the committee? All right, so I will go ahead and take all these together. They've already been moved and seconded, so all those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, any against? All right, so I've got 8 in favor, none against on all these.
But do keep building some of those affordable houses too.
Well,
It's pretty impressive that you have it for $1,200. Is that?
I've got a bunch of them.
That's
They've just, I've
only
had them for 20
slightly
years.
higher.
And I rarely ever raise them.
Yeah.
And I've
You
had
can't even
tenants
get
in
an
there
apartment for that,
for
though.
15, 16 years.
Yeah.
And we don't build a lot of short-term rentals. That's not our business.
Yeah.
And we build for single-family units.
Yeah.
And I'm the investor too. I mean, the builder, he's not here, but I'm speaking on all our behalf, so.
That's my neck of the
So,
woods.
and it's my money that's I'm the one taking the hit, so it's.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 11, which is 40%. It's RS 2024-433, Bradford Tombstone and others. Councilmember Nash, you said you had a question on this one.
Yeah, I think I read in the whereases, this was on the Registry of Historical Buildings, and I heard somewhere else that it wasn't. Do we know exactly if it is
So
or isn't?
in 2013, to answer that question, 2013, the State Historic Commission notified the Airport Authority that their determination was that the building was eligible for placing on the historic register. Now, when it comes to placing buildings and other things on the historic register, it falls to the property owner to contact the federal government to do that. In this case, BNA is the owner of the property, and so they did not do that, obviously, because they don't want to have to jump through loopholes to do something with this building. So this is basically, the idea behind this is just whatever is done, whether it's they work with the community to move the building or they decide to demolish it, they have to provide us written notice.
And then what?
They're just providing us written notice that they're going to do what they're going to do. Because under current laws, they don't have to provide any notice whatsoever. So this gives the community an opportunity to know what they plan on doing with the building. All right.
Wait, was you right?
Any other questions?
What is our
Changed our mind.
recourse? What is
Our recourse for,
I mean,
like, if they don't submit the report.
or if they do?
Yeah, that's my question.
Either way.
Then what?
They're both, add themselves to it.
I mean, I don't know that there is much recourse that the council can take here.
Yeah, and this is basically, we're letting them know that we as a council are going to be watching and Metro Codes are going to be watching to make sure that they don't sneak in the middle of the night and try to tear it down when nobody's looking. That everybody is notified, because we know that in the past developers have done that with historical structures.
I am totally confused. If they own the property and they have the right to tear it down and it's not on the historical register, so they have the right to do it, what am I missing?
So under federal law, even if it's not on the register, even if it's eligible for historic register status, there's federal laws to protect it. So
Then how come it hadn't protected it up to now?
So if it was actually on historic register status, then there would be things that have to be done. With it being eligible, even if they use any federal funding to demolish the building, it has to go through the State Historic Commission and Metro Historic Commission, even though it's not on the register. But again, this is just, we're letting the airport know that we're watching them, that we're not going to let them come in the middle of the night and tear this building down without working with the community to try and save it.
Have they already said that they're putting a runway there?
They've been non-committal on anything that I've asked them about, as far as there's no date yet when airport expansion will happen. There's no commitment on when or if they will do anything with the building. This is just as I said, we're letting them know that we are keeping an eye on this and that we want to be notified whether they choose to move the building, whether they choose to demolish it. We're just asking that they notify us and that Metro Codes keeps a watch and make sure that they do everything they're supposed to do under Metro Code.
But we have no authority here, do we?
The council directly does not have a lot of authority here. There are things in place, like there's a 90-day hold that the Metro Historic Commission director can put on a demolition permit if it's something that's eligible for the National Register of Historic Places.
Have they done that?
I don't know that a demolition permit's been applied for, so there is no hold.
Have we asked the Historic Commission to do that?
Yes, I have.
And
He said he would do it. If they apply for the demolition permit, he'll put a hold on it for 90 days.
that's great. Why do we need to do this if he's doing that? I mean, I don't understand, so I'm legitimately asking questions.
Basically, this is
that-
putting us on the council on the record, like we've done with the other resolutions, saying we're not going to sit here and let the airport come in the middle of the night and demolish this building without letting us know first. We're holding the airport accountable.
If I may, I would just encourage Sherry, as a part of the community, I know that there are people in my district, which borders Russ's district, that have been there for 25 plus years, that would want to be present as that building is torn down if they were given the proper notice.
Okay.
So in my view, I view it as a, witnessing history being destroyed. If given the opportunity and the information, knowing that it would happen. That's why I'm going to support it.
What's the restaurant going to do? Do we know?
I mean, he's going to remain open in the Germantown restaurant. He's looking at other options he's actually working on a proposal with an engineer to try and move the building.
Okay.
And maybe reopen the manor there, but he's also looking at other options for another restaurant. Do you have a question? Okay.
Just one more. I certainly appreciate the sponsor, chairman's position. I'm glad the airport wasn't in my district. I get what you're going. But at the same time, we have an airport that serves this whole city. They've got to be doing things to improve the service and the like. We're a big city now, and that building may go. And I don't want to be seen as being kind of overly critical of the airport doing their job. Same time,
I don't
I'm
think this
sympathetic.
does that, though.
Well,
I'm sorry.
And
Forgive me.
I'm sympathetic. I'm going to vote for it because I don't see any harm being done to the process by the airport or the community. But I think we need to maybe rein in some of the emotion here shortly on this issue.
Councilmember Ellis, you wanted to respond?
Spoken like a tenured council member.
Any
There's a
other,
reason.
You don't say.
any other questions or discussion on this one? All right, all those in favor? Any against?
Thank you. It's a rare
So
occasion.
7 in favor, 1 against. Anybody not voting? All right. And then the last one, BL 2024-293, Evans Porterfield Vote with Others, amends Chapter 15.64 and Chapter 16.04 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to restrict fences in the floodway and floodplain and to require a fence permit for all fences to be constructed within Nashville and Davidson County. This bill was deferred in other committees, and the sponsor has asked for a deferral to July 2nd. Is there a motion?
I move for a deferral until July 2nd.
All right.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any against? All right, that brings us to the end of the committee, and we stand adjourned.